Good afternoon. Hi, I'm Carrie Ebersol. I'm the director of the 60 by 30 office for the state of Michigan, and we are thrilled to come today through this virtual format to talk more about the Futures for Frontliners program that has been recently announced as an opportunity to continue educational efforts to obtain new credentials. So we have a great lineup today. We have the Lansing Community College President, Steve Robinson. We have Travis Neller with Eaton Risa. We have Carrie Rosengana with the Capital Area Michigan Works. We also have Jamie Klingville with Pekom. And the idea, again, is we've invited all of these folks to join us today to bring their perspective to the goal of 60 by 30, continuing our educational efforts, mobilizing our workforce by closing the skills gap, and also employers in the region, because at the end of the day, we want jobs available for folks. So with that, I'm going to go through a quick presentation. Each of our speakers will speak for a few minutes, and then we'll have some time for question and answer. So with that, let's click through the first slide. So some of you may be thinking 60 by 30, what the heck is that? What does that mean? Well, 60 by 30, 60% is a goal Governor Whitmer laid out in her first State of the State address, which is just a goal to raise an educational attainment for those working age folks in the state of Michigan by the year 2030. There's a number of reasons why the governor has set this goal. One is we know that educational attainment is directly connected to wages. So this is about getting more money into people's pockets. And two, a lot of times with increased educational attainment, additional certificates and degrees, those jobs that you are then qualified for are recession-proof or less likely to be automated down the line. So this is just a really important time frame that we are looking to really energize and mobilize our workforce across Michigan and give the tools our employers need to be competitive today and into the future. So one, you'll see on this slide, we really want to close those skills gaps. We understand the best jobs require more than a high school diploma. Increase opportunities, and this is, we're going to talk a lot about the Futures for Frontliners program today, but this is a key aspect of our efforts within the 60 by 30 office, is increasing those educational opportunities. And then third, as I mentioned, closing the skills gap, getting a highly trained, skilled workforce will help empower our employers to compete. And this is about inclusive economic growth into the future. Next slide, please. So what is Futures for Frontliners? So we announced this Michigan scholarship about 6 weeks ago, and we were fortunate to be able to utilize some of the CARES Act funding. Those are those federal dollars that came through in response to COVID-19 to mobilize and create this program. And it's meant for essential infrastructure workers without a high school diploma or post-secondary degree. And this is an avenue to provide tuition-free access to Michigan's public community colleges to earn an associate degree or industry-recognized certificate. And the bottom line here is we know those essential workers that put themselves in harm's way to ensure that we were able to still put groceries on our table or get the medical care that we needed. This is just one way we were able to extend a thank you for everything they did for our communities around the state. So with that, that's the context and the framework for Futures for Frontliners. Next slide. Pathways to attainment. So you'll hear us talk a bit about two pathways within the Futures for Frontliners program. One is for those frontliners who have a high school diploma or equivalent. So they would be applying to seek additional credentials through a community college. And then path two are the frontliners who need to complete a high school diploma or equivalent. And that is, we work closely in coordination with the adult education providers around the state. We estimate that there's roughly 625,000 Michiganders that could qualify for this program. Next slide. Website and application. So we've tried to simplify this process as much as possible. The application process for the Frontline Scholarship should only take about 10 minutes. You can apply right now at Michigan.gov/Frontliners. You will need access to the internet. So the only way you can apply for this program is through the internet and the website. You will need an email address and a social security number to apply. We need everyone, folks that are interested in this program, to apply by December 31st. And again, this is connected back to those federal CARES Act dollars. I mentioned that they have to be allocated by December 31st. And the last piece is you must enroll in classes in 2021. So you have to be seated in classes next year. Next slide. Oops. The applicant update, just to give you a sense, we have about 76,777 applications to date. Demand is high. Folks are interested at this opportunity, which we are thrilled about. We have a bit of the demographic breakdown. You can see women are more readily taking advantage or taking this opportunity over men. And then we have both the demographic breakdowns for the Path 1 and Path 2. You can see in the region in mid-Michigan, you have most applications coming from Ingham and Jackson counties, with a few hundred in Hillsdale, Eaton, and Clinton. But again, we have through December 31st. And this is one of the many reasons why we are doing these panel discussions, is just to elevate awareness and to help answer some questions in the communities about this opportunity. And with that, I'm gonna kick it over. I just want to give you a little bit of context and information about the program. And now I want to kick it over to get the perspective of Lansing Community College President Steve Robinson. Steve?
Well, thank you so much, Carrie, and thank you for including Lansing Community College in this presentation. And thank you to everyone who is listening. Everyone here at LCC is very excited about the great opportunity that Futures for Frontliners brings to our community and our residents here in mid-Michigan. We're ready to fully support our current and future students who are going to be taking advantage of this scholarship and complete their associate degree or any other kind of industry recognized skills certificate. Here at LCC, this is what we do. We were built for this kind of moment. We have a long history that starts in 1957 of doing important training for folks in mid-Michigan, and the kind of investment that the state has made in frontliners is something we're really excited to be a part of. One thing I'd like everybody to know is that here at LCC, we realize that starting college or going back to school can be very daunting, and that many of our students aren't just going to school, they'll be juggling other important life duties, working, raising a family. And I want you to know that here at LCC, we've got great supports in place to ensure that you can be successful when you start a pathway like Futures for Frontliners. We've been helping adult learners by supporting their learning needs in a changing community for decades. So all of our LCC students have access to career and academic counseling. And to date, LCC has had over 700 students approved by the state of Michigan for this program. And there are approximately 3,300 students who have already indicated that LCC is the institution that they'll be attending when they start Futures for Frontliners. So we want to make sure that we provide all the supports for our students who end up being here. And I would just say this. I am very excited as the president of LCC on behalf of our board and behalf of our entire campus community that the state of Michigan has made this important investment in our citizens and economic future. This is the way we're going to emerge from the pandemic, by getting folks into better jobs with family sustaining wages. So if our programs at LCC are attractive to you in Futures for Frontliners, please go to lcc.edu. The banner on our website right now is all about Futures for Frontliners, and we can get you started on a great pathway here at Lansing Community College. Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you, President Robinson. Appreciate that. Next up, we have Travis Neller with Eaton Risa.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon again. My name is Travis Neller. I work for Eaton Risa. We have an adult ed program. We work with Region 7, the Lansing area. So I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of two school districts that we work with and how they help people achieve their high school diploma and any career goals that they have after that. Next slide, please. So as you can see, Lansing School District, they have an adult ed program. Lots of attendees for their program. A lot of people in Lansing, with it being, inner city, like Steve had mentioned, a lot of things going on in their lives. So, attaining their high school diploma or GED is very important to them. Next slide. The GED, they have a GED and high school diploma program. They obviously have an approved GED testing site. They have the high school completion program, and all of this is free. So obviously that's a bonus. They have highly qualified teachers, certified teachers, and the pace is very flexible to allow students to get the job done and get their high school diploma or their GED. Next slide, please. One of the unique programs that the Lansing School District offers is English as a second language. These classes are offered in the morning, afternoon, and the evening. It's for multiple levels of English as a second language. Again, it's free. And again, there's highly qualified and certified teachers. And this helps with preparation for job opportunities, again, high school completion, and then college readiness, helping them get ready for, for the college courses that they may be taking and helping them where language will not be a barrier for them. Next slide, please. And then they have what they call Pathway to Career Options. It's a very unique program, helps, the students with obtaining goals that they might have after high school. They need to be enrolled, in the adult ed education program. Then they can take or choose a career track that they'd like to be on to get certified, a credential, whatever that may be. And then it can help for post-secondary success, trade school, new job upgrade, and then increased, fulfillment and joy during this process. This is what I would consider Lansing to have one of their very unique programs that helps students after they finish with their GED or high school diploma. Next slide, please. And this is just a flyer that these are available if you would like them. So at the end, I'll give my information and can provide that for you. Next slide, please. Potterville Adult Education, Potterville Community Schools, they offer an adult education program. They are open for business right now, and they're providing virtual and online classes. Next slide, please. The programs that they offer, high school equivalent, GED, or excuse me, high school diploma. And they also have the adult basic education GED program. And then they have a support program, LTE, Learn to Learn. This is GED preparation, pathway program clients receiving services through Capital Area Michigan Works. So they work with Capital Area Michigan Works, and they also work with Potterville. And then real quick, I just want to read you one of these student testimonials from students that attended the program at Potterville. There was a gentleman, 54 years old. He said, when I found out they offered it, I was so happy because I thought that there were no other programs. I thought I would never finish. Now I'm going to give it all that I got and to get it done. And then here's some contact information. And again, I can provide this stuff at the end when we have open discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Travis. And I think it's just really exciting, again, whether it's obtaining that high school diploma or equivalent, or headed back to community college to obtain some additional credentials. This is just a really, really exciting program that we're a part of. So thank you for your partnership. Next up, we gotta keep focused on the jobs and connecting the credentials, the training to the jobs that are available, and also raising awareness on those jobs or those credentials that are in high demand in each region of our state. So with that, I want to welcome Carrie Rosengana with the Capital Area Michigan Works. Carrie?
Thanks so much, Carrie. Thank you, everyone, for having me. I'm Carrie Rosengana. I am the current CEO with Capital Area Michigan Works, and our agency serves the Tri-County region of Clinton, Eaton, and Ingham counties. We could not be more proud to support Future for Frontliners and to serve as a partner in our region, along with our other Michigan Works agency partners across the state, to help individuals be successful through Futures for Frontliners. We're really excited for the essential workers in our communities to have this opportunity, free college, to help them with high demand careers right here in the Capital Region. Capital Area Michigan Works provides services to job seekers, and I thought I'd start off by just going through a little bit about what that looks like. So we provide services to help individuals explore career opportunities and understand the current and future demand of occupations within our region. And we determine that by using labor market statistical information to help support the decisions that we're making to help people get training. The services that we provide help support individuals who are exploring trainings and help them understand how credential attainment can fit into a career pathway model, because we know that learning is something that we want to encourage people to continue to do and to grow in as they're exploring those career pathways that they're interested in. We also offer career coaching, which is one-on-one service to help individuals address the needs that they may have or barriers that they may be facing. Things like that can include transportation barrier, needing clothing to be able to attend training or be ready for a job, helping them develop their resumes as they're working towards completion of their credential, and helping them to prepare for interviews so that they can make sure that they have all the opportunities that they have the opportunity to grow within. And we also do provide translation services and assistive technology that are available to all individuals coming into our American Job Centers to ensure that we provide equitable access to all of our residents in the Tri-County region. Our business services team work directly with employers across the region to support the needs of the employers and to determine what their current and their future workforce needs are within their employee sector. We also have provided Future for Frontliner information to employers within our region to help ensure that they understand this opportunity for the staff that they have hired, and to ensure that they can help share the word and help with outreach efforts to get their workers connected to those opportunities. We know that really it's important for the employers to understand just as much as the employee why these opportunities through Future for Frontliners are really valuable for them. We also partner with a number of educational adult ed partners, which Marisa just gave a wonderful connection to our agency, as well as rehabilitative service partners within the region. We make sure that if we have an individual who shares with us that they are in need of completing their high school diploma or equivalency, that we can help them get connected to those adult education providers within our region. And if we know that there's someone who may benefit from connecting with Michigan Rehabilitative Services or Bureau of Services for Blind Persons, we stand ready to be able to make those connections as well to ensure that we're putting all the supports in place to help make sure that someone is successful. Now, when you start to talk about regional occupation projections, that's where I'm a little bit of a data nerd, and I thought I'd share some information that's pretty important for us to regionally think through. So our South Central Michigan's total employment is projected to grow 8.3% from 2016 through 2026, according to the Bureau of Technology Management and Budget's Labor Market Information Department, which translates to 18,700 additional jobs just right here in our region. We know that among broad occupational groups, the largest projected job growth are in professional jobs, service jobs, and health jobs. So those can be things like being a medical assistant, being a diagnostic medical sonographer, being a certified nursing aide, and in manufacturing, we know that that could equate to doing something in a CNC machine tool operator or programming capacity. We also know that by 2026, over 43% of jobs in Michigan and in our region will require a high school diploma or more with training to be able to enter those occupations. So the Future for Frontliner program really will provide those supports to ensure that the workers have the skills they need to be marketable for employment opportunities in the future. There are several jobs in our region that typically require an associate degree, long training, or apprenticeship that meet the criteria for being high demand and high wage in the region. Some of those occupations can include diesel engine specialists, HVAC and refrigeration mechanic, installers, industrial machinery mechanic, and civil engineering technicians, to name only a few. We also know that there are many skilled jobs requiring post-secondary education and credentials that are also going to be connected to these opportunities to provide those supports that our workers should be able to access. Capital Area Michigan Works stands ready to support the Future for Frontliners program, and we would encourage anyone interested to connect with our local Michigan Works agency or the agency that's closest to you to explore how we can help support you as you are exploring the Future for Frontliners program. With Frontliners, we can help really make sure that hardworking Michiganders get on the pathway to rewarding good-paying jobs, and we want to help support in any way that we can through our agency. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Carrie. Now we have our final presenter here, Jamie Klingbill with Pekom, Inc., to talk from an employer perspective on recruitment and also internship specialists over at Pekom. So Jamie, please share your insights.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me today. I feel like that was a really tough act to follow. I'm not sure if I'll be as articulate and as prepared, but hopefully I'll provide some good information for you guys. My role at Pekom is to focus on our IT positions. So I do all the hiring for our IT positions, and part of that is the training aspect because our top tier positions require a certification. The CompTIA certification is what we focus on, which is why it's in line with what we've been talking about as individuals to participate in programs to obtain that certification. So that's kind of my area within Pekom. We have a couple of locations in the state, one being Grand Rapids, and we have our IT positions that are government contracts where it's IT technical service desk. So that's in Grand Rapids and then here in Lansing. And we also have remote positions that are really supported throughout all of Michigan. So that's pretty exciting. As I mentioned, the requirements for those jobs are a CompTIA Security Plus certification and a Microsoft certification. And so again, that's where the training and the credential program really comes into place and is really beneficial for us. I want to echo what a few other people have mentioned. Pekom, as an employer, we really support our employees in continued growth and continued learning and development. And so coming into a position at Pekom and really having that be a transitional piece and really coming out of a certification program or an associate's program and stepping into our positions, you know, we're well supported, and again, we're very people-centered, people-focused. So yeah, I guess I'll kind of wrap it up. And the positions we have, if you're interested, go to Pekom.com. We have a careers page at the top, and lots of opportunities. Thanks.
Wonderful, wonderful. Again, thank you all for spending some time with us. At this point in the program, this is where we take questions from those that have joined us. And again, feel free for those watching at home to type in your question into the chat box, and then we will go through those and provide some responses and feedback. Again, you know, it takes a village to help support what we need across the state, and I think everyone that has joined this call today is a part of that equation. Again, we know the data shows educational attainment is directly connected to wages. We know that employers around the state have needs for specific skilled workers. We want to close that gap, empower our employers to compete, and put money in your pocket. So that's what I call a win-win. And I've been daring to say that despite all the challenges we've been facing with COVID-19, that there's a possible silver lining, that this educational opportunity that we're able to help support gives us a true opportunity to help retool our workforce. And hopefully, you know, with some additional teamwork, we'll be able to supply the wraparound services to not only get enrollments, but to get completions, to get across that line for those certificates and credentials that we are talking about. So enough from me. Let's see if there's any questions. Erica, I know you usually help get us through the question segment. So you see anything in the chat room?
Absolutely. We already have some questions in. The first one is from Mariah. Just for clarification, you don't have to start in spring or summer sessions, but you must be in class by fall of 2021. Is that correct?
That is correct. That is correct. And you need to
also ask, does it include English classes in the community and or LCC?
I do want to say you do have to do a minimum of 6 credits for that semester. You can wait until fall semester. And then on your question on specific, can you repeat that again? And I may kick that over to Ava.
Yeah, the second part of the question says, does it include English classes in the community and or LCC?
So I'll take a stab at that. That, you know, again, the program is to help support, you know, if you are on that path 1, moving forward to get a credential through the community college, that we would cover tuition costs towards that credential. So that, you know, if there's an English course along your path there, then that would be included for tuition costs.
All right. Our next question is from Kate, who says, is the time limit for people to use their Futures for Frontliners credit, and when will it be starting?
So the timeline, again, we need applications in by December 31st. That's step 1. And then, of course, we also need you to apply. Again, if you are a Path 1, we need you to be apply to your local community college and then enroll in classes next year. So again, that could be winter, spring, summer, or fall semesters next year. And you have to take a minimum of 6 credit hours.
And is there a time limit for that scholarship? Do they have to complete within a certain amount of time?
Oh, I may not have heard that part. Time limit is 4 years. You need to be completed within 4 years.
Thanks. All right, our next is from an anonymous guest. How are eligible future students who are participating in a financial aid consortium agreement impacted by this? For example, attending classes at LCC and a university simultaneously.
Ava, are you familiar with this one? Ava Atari is our director of the Futures for Frontliners program. So she is our expert as it relates to eligibility and all those guidelines.
Thanks, Carrie. Hi, everyone. So for consortium students, typically the way that it works is that your home school is the university. So your FAFSA, your application for federal aid will also be for the university. So in those cases, you would not be eligible for Futures for Frontliners because you have to be enrolled at the community college with your federal student aid application having the community college as the home school.
All right. I signed up to start in winter or spring of 2021 for LCC. I have not completed FAFSA yet. I don't know if I am being realistic to return to college for that semester. Is that a problem? Also, I started to apply on an iPad and found out later that a computer is needed. Can you confirm or advise on that?
Ava.
Sure. So I think it would depend kind of when you say sign up for winter or spring 2021, did you already enroll in classes? I think this is more of a specific question, which I'm happy to also talk about more offline. If you want to send me your email address, I'm happy to talk through that with you. But if you're not sure about starting to go back to school just yet, I would reach out to the community college and see what are your opportunities. Actually, this might be even a great question for Steve, maybe if you want to jump in too. But yeah, if you haven't completed your FAFSA yet, if you're not sure about enrolling in the winter or spring semester, like Carrie mentioned, you have until the end of 2021. Fall semester is the last semester to enroll in. So that could be an opportunity for you if you're not sure yet. But again, I would reach out to the community college and see, maybe it is realistic for you, maybe it's not, and what are your opportunities for that.
Yeah,
sorry, Steve, please go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to, that's a perfect answer, Ava. And the only thing I would add is, my understanding is that completed FAFSA is a requirement because of the technical way that the program is put together. It's what's called a last dollar scholarship. But so what I would add is if you are concerned about whether it's a realistic time for you to start, the community college folks, and particularly our success coaches at LCC, can help you through that thought process about when to start and what you can do to get going. And I think what you found about the computer is correct, that some of the application requirements require a little more firepower than a tablet, but that's something we can help you with too. So reach out to us because Ava's answer is exactly correct.
Thanks, Steve. I appreciate it.
And Ava, can you touch on the application? Is that something that users can do from an iPad or other device, or does it have to be a computer?
Yeah, so I personally haven't tried it on a tablet, but it seems like it might be a computer might be the easiest way to do so. I know you can also you can visit our website with the tablet and an iPhone or a smartphone if you have it. If you're requiring a computer to do so, we can definitely put that disclaimer on our website so folks know if you had any issues with it, but please, let us know.
All right, our next question. I had a representative from a community college outside of the Lansing area tell me there was a way to use Futures for Frontliners to earn a bachelor's degree. This seems to be opposite of what I had heard. If someone earns an associate's degree with it, does it somehow continue to bachelor's? Is there any scenario where it can be used for a bachelor's degree?
Steve, do you want to jump in? Or Carrie, yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm happy to give a starting answer. So the great thing about the associate's degree, which is one of my favorite credentials, is that it articulates very well to a bachelor's degree. So while you could start with a bachelor's degree at a community college, it certainly would articulate well to a transfer to a baccalaureate program later. And that may be what the other community college is talking about. There are a handful of community colleges in Michigan that offer baccalaureate degrees, but I'm guessing that's not what's being talked about here. Here in mid-Michigan, we're happy to talk to you about the ways that your LCC associate degree work could point you toward a bachelor's degree at any number of our university partners. In fact, on our downtown campus, we have a wonderful university center with articulation agreements to a lot of major universities, including Michigan State with our Envision Green program. So I hope that answers the question. But in general, the design of an associate's degree, which is approximately 60 credits, it represents the freshman and sophomore year of a baccalaureate degree, which is about 120 credits.
Oh, thank you, Steve. And I would just add that, this scholarship opportunity does not cover four-year credentials or degrees, but this is, as just mentioned, is a way to put you on a path to not only obtain your associates, but then, take that further step to a four-year degree. So this is what we hope as an initial program that we can expand upon in the future.
Right. And what happens if I don't complete within 4 years? Do I end up owing back pay for those classes?
Ava.
Great question. So, one of two things, there are some eligibility requirements to maintaining the award once you get it. And if you don't complete your associate's degree within that 4-year limit, you don't owe any back pay. But you might want to keep that in mind when you're planning to going back to school. And I think that's where the community colleges can be a great resource for you too, to help you plan out what you might need to cover after the 4 years. So if you're not able to meet those credits all within the 4-year period, to plan that out. But yeah, you don't owe any back pay.
Thank you. And let's see, the next question is from Mariah. Thank you for the last response. If a student doesn't test into the English program at LCC, can they enroll in a community-based program that does not charge in 2021 until they are able to test into the program in the future?
How about
Yeah, I'll take a stab at answering this one. So I'm happy to talk more about this one offline too, but if I understand the question correctly, if you're not able to enroll in classes in 2021 with Futures for Frontliners, then you're not able to receive the award. But this might be a great segue. The Michigan Reconnect was a program that was going to be started last year, which is looking to get started next year. And if Futures for Frontliners is an opportunity for you by that point, by the end of 2021, Michigan Reconnect could be a possible opportunity for you. But again, happy to talk more about this offline. Mariah, if you want to send me an email, send me your email in the chat. I'm happy to respond back to you.
All right. And has the government considered adding other schools like four-year colleges to this list? Perhaps they would be willing to adjust the rates.
So I'll kick that off. So this is, again, an initial program that we were able to structure thanks to some of the federal CARES Act dollars. And again, the CARES Act dollars were directly connected to the COVID response, and therefore why we constructed this as a gratitude program to our essential workers earlier in the pandemic. So this is, again, just a step one. Next year, we are looking forward to launching an additional program for adult learners 25 and older. Again, this would be a community college path to a credential there. We have proposed a My Opportunity scholarship that would then extend to four-year institutions. The challenge there is we haven't received funding for that program yet. So that doesn't mean we're not going to stop working towards that end, but it is one piece that we want to get these programs off the ground, make them successful, show the demand and the eagerness of folks across Michigan and wanting to continue their educational path. And also, as we've talked about, actually, if you look at the top 50 credentials needed in the state of Michigan, 35 of them are bachelor degrees. We are very much aware of that. And when I talk about connecting this to empowering the employers in our state to compete today and into the future, that is an important part. We just haven't gotten there yet. But that's not to say there aren't other scholarship opportunities and financial aid, which I can see Steve Robinson's chomping at the bit to maybe talk about. He's nodding over there.
How could you tell? No, I did want to provide kind of a community college lens and maybe a bit of advocacy to the question. It's a good question. But what I would say is that from a design standpoint, and particularly from a state completion goal like 60 by 30, one of the great and efficient strategies of focusing on community college is that these scholarship investments, and I really do see them as a state investment, will go farther at community colleges than they would even with our state universities. And I think our state university partners would agree to that. In the front end of our many pathways at the community college, the learning outcomes, the courses are similar, if not the same, to our transfer destination partners. Here in mid-Michigan, where you've got a lot of master's prepared and PhD prepared faculty, a lot of our courses are taught by the same instructors. So the transfer pathways that community colleges have built out allow for what I would call a both and, starting at the community college with a baccalaureate in mind. And some of the very important career credentials, either in certificate or associate's degrees, they also articulate well to later bachelor's degree programs. So it doesn't have to be an either or choice. This program could start you well on the way to a short-term credential that would raise income, but also articulate well to a baccalaureate program for future career growth.
Perfect. And if someone has an associate's degree, are they able to do a second associate's degree that they can possibly merge into a bachelor's by transferring credits to a university?
Unfortunately, no. This program is for those without a high school diploma or a current associate's degree.
All right. And is this based on how much you make when doing a FAFSA?
So I'll kick that off, and then Ava can fill in the blanks. That we have, this is a last dollar scholarship. So what does that mean? That means after you fill out the financial aid, the federal financial aid form, the support from this scholarship is then determined. So that doesn't mean to say that if you make too much money, you may not be eligible for the scholarship. It just means we're asking you to, first fill out that federal financial aid front, and then the scholarship would then apply to your tuition or mandatory fees. Ava, do you want to fill in anything I missed?
No, I think that was great. I mean, it's a last dollar scholarship program, so you have to submit the federal aid application, but if you don't receive the Pell Grant because, due to income, that doesn't mean you won't get Futures for Frontliners.
All right, and it looks like we're getting some clarification potentially on the previous question submitted about English. The person asking about English classes is likely talking about English as a second language. So if they do not meet the criteria to be admitted to LCC right away, based on their ability to read or speak English, they are asking if they could use Frontliner funds to take an ESL class to aid with their admission into community college.
So Frontliners wouldn't be applied to that, but we do have other resources that we may want to connect you with through our Office of Global Michigan. And I know Ava and I participated in a call with their team earlier today. So Ava, I don't know if you're aware of some of the programs that they have handy, but I think it's something that we could connect you with some resources and information on that front.
All right, and are class sizes being adjusted at LCC to accommodate a large volume of applicants? I've noticed several of the course studies that interest me list a max of 30 students. Steve, can you touch on that one?
I can. I can't give a specific question about a particular course, but from an enrollment management perspective, our academic affairs folks are very aware of the potential for increased demand in due to this great new program of Futures for Frontliners. I think we have capacity at the current moment because enrollment, because of the rest of the pandemic, is down. So in general, answer the question, yes, we're aware that the interest of this program will have an impact on enrollment, and quite frankly, we're excited about that.
All right, and can you take classes at JCC and LCC at the same time?
I know Ava, I don't know if you want to take that, but I know you're able to go between, meaning you're able to transfer within this program between institutions, but at the same time, that's something I'd have to check with Ava on eligibility pieces.
Hi, sorry. I'm having a bunch of technical difficulties on my end. The mute button just went missing on me. Really sorry. Can you take classes at JCC and LCC at the same time? That's a great question. Happy to talk more about that offline. I think it would depend on the program or your specific situation. So if you want to put your email in the chat, happy to talk about it with you one-on-one.
Yeah, the only thing I'd add is I think it's the question is probably about the financial aid component of that. Certainly you can take classes at multiple community colleges. It's a function of how the financial aid flows through them, and I think there are challenges to doing it simultaneously with aid.
All right, well, that was all for the questions that have been submitted. So with that, I'll turn it over to Carrie to close things out for us.
Wonderful. Thank you, Erica, for helping to facilitate that. And I want to thank all of our panelists today. And I do want to flag, we didn't talk much, didn't have many questions to bring Carrie and Jamie into the conversation, but it's really, really important. I encourage you to check out the Michigan Works website for the region. There's a number of employer or employee job resources that may be helpful to you, as well as on mytalent.org. So I encourage you to, take a look at those and to help inform your decision on if you want to go back to school, what do you want to go back to school for, what degrees are you interested in, what are the jobs that are available at the end of that educational attainment. So just wanted to flag those pieces. And then as you can see on this slide, any other questions, we have our customer care center phone number, as well as our website where there's a frequently asked question document there that you can refer to if we didn't succinctly answer your question here today. So with that, again, we're grateful for you all to join us. We're excited about this program. We're excited about the partnerships we have around the state. And this, again, we're hoping to be a silver lining through all the challenges we face. So take care, be well, and we'll see you soon.